Well, so in this holiday period I have completed the Lebanon top, and you can view from your school's YouTube channel. Okay, and today I will be starting with the fourth chapter from your English textbook. The chapter name is Landscape of the Soul. Landscape of the Soul. Okay, and it's written by Nathalie Troveroy. It's written by Nathalie Troveroy. Today I will be starting with the chapter, the fourth chapter from your English textbook, Landscape of the Soul. Okay, so this is a story all about, the story is about the art. Okay, the main theme of the story is all about the art. So it's all revolves around the art of painting. Okay, the story, the whole story, there are many stories in this chapter. So the main theme of the story is all about art. Okay, the art of painting through the help of various stories. Okay, so we can learn, or we will learn, that here the writer contrasts two different types of painting. Here the writer contrasts the two forms of art. One is the Chinese form of painting, another one is the European painting. Okay, so the main theme of the story is all about a contrast between two different forms of artwork. One is the Chinese artwork along with the European artwork. Okay, so this is all about the story. Now I will narrate the story with explanation. A wonderful old tale is told about the painter Wu Daozi. Wu Daozi was a Chinese painter, okay, and he lived in the 8th century. So this is a story about the famous painter in China, Wu Daozi, okay, and he used to live in the 8th century. His last painting was a landscape. So he had painted a landscape, and this was his last painting, commissioned by the Tang Emperor Xuanzong. So this Wu Daozi was assigned a work by the Tang king, the Tang Emperor Xuanzong. So Xuanzong had given a work to Wu Daozi. Okay, what was that work? To decorate a palace wall. So as he was a painter, he was assigned with a work of decorating a palace wall. The master had hidden his work behind a screen. So when the painting was going on, Wu Daozi had covered his painting behind a screen. Why he had just hidden it behind a screen? So only the emperor would see it. So only the emperor could see his painting. Nobody else could see it. So he had hidden his painting behind a screen. For a long while, the emperor admired the wonderful scene. So when the emperor had seen or had watched the painting, he was mesmerized. Okay, he admired the wonderful scene depicted in the painting drawn by Wu Daozi. So what he had seen? Forest, discovering forest, high mountains, waterfalls, clouds floating in an immense sky, men on hilly paths, birds in flight. So these are the things that have been depicted in the painting, and the emperor, when he saw this painting, he admired each and every scene which had been depicted in the painting drawn by Wu Daozi. "Look, sir," said the painter, "in this cave at the foot of the mountain dwells a spirit." The painter told the king that in this cave, which is at the foot of the mountain, dwells a spirit. That means This cave is compared with a living thing, and he is saying that a spirit used to live over there. So a cave is compared with a living spirit. Okay. So this, the inside is splendid beyond anything words can convey. So the painting which had been drawn inside the cave, it was marvelous, it was splendid, it was wonderful, and it is beyond any description. Nobody could describe it in any words. It was so splendid, it was so charming and beautiful, painting inside the cave. Please let me show your majesty the way. So what happened? When the painter clapped his hand, the entrance to the cave opened. Okay, and after that he told the king that he would show him the way inside the cave. That means the cave was a real one in the painting. It has some lively being. The painter entered the cave, but the entrance closed behind him. So when Wu Daozi entered the cave, the entrance of the cave just closed behind him. It was shut down. And before the astonished emperor could move or utter the word, the emperor was outside of the cave, and Wu Daozi had entered the cave, and the cave door, or you can see the opening of the cave had been closed down. So Wu Daozi was inside the cave and the emperor was outside. The painting had vanished from the wall. So before emperor could do anything, before emperor could utter a single word, the whole painting had been vanished when Wu Daozi had entered the cave. Not a trace of Wu Daozi's brush was left. So not a single stain was left over on the palace wall, whatever he had drawn. Nothing was left. The whole painting had been vanished, and the artist was never seen again in this world. And after that, the famous artist Wu Daozi, who had painted, who had decorated a palace wall, he was never seen again in this world. So this small story is an anecdote. Anecdote means a small story related to the life of a person. So this story is all about the famous painter Wu Daozi. Now do you have any doubts, any queries in the first para? Then tell me. Any doubts? Any doubts, any question? If you have not understood any line, please tell me. Any doubts? Okay. Such stories played an important part in China's classical education. So this type of stories played an important role in classical education of China. The books of Confucius and Zhuangzi are full of them. So you have heard the name of Confucius in history book. So the book written by Confucius and Zhuangzi, there are full of such type of stories which would help the master to guide his disciple in the right directions. So this type of stories we can find in the books of Confucius and Zhuangzi, which would help the master to help their disciple, means followers, or to just guide their followers in their right direction. Beyond the anecdote, already I have said what is the meaning of anecdote. Anecdote means short, interesting story about a real person or of a real person. A short, interesting story of a real person is called anecdote. So beyond the anecdote, they are deeply revealing of the spirit in which art was considered. So this type of short, interesting story were considered that these are just like the form of art. These are not only stories, these are also just like the form of art. Contrast this story or another famous one about a painter who would not draw the eye of a dragon he had painted, for fear it would fly out of the painting with an old story from my native Flanders that I find most representative of Western painting. So there was another story. This story I have completed. This story is all about Wu Daozi. There is another famous story in contrast to the previous one. So the previous one related with the Chinese painting, and now I will tell you the story about European painting, related with European painting. So this story is all about a painter who did not try to draw the eye of a dragon. Why he did not want to draw the eye of a dragon? He had painted it. He had painted the dragon, but he did not want to draw the eye of the dragon. For fear it would fly out of the painting. He was afraid. He feared that if he would draw the eye of the dragon, then the dragon would fly out of the painting. Then the dragon become alive. So out of fear, he did not draw, or he did not paint the eye of the dragon. With an old story from the native Flanders. Flanders means medieval country in Western Europe. So this is a story came from medieval country in Western Europe that I find most representative of Western painting, and this is a form of Western painting. Okay? In 15th century Antwerp, a master blacksmith called Queen Metzys fell in love with a painter's daughter. So during 15th century in Antwerp, A-N-T-W-E-R-P, Antwerp. Antwerp is a city of northern Belgium. Okay, it is a city of northern Belgium. So during the 15th century, in the city of northern Belgium, a master blacksmith named Quentin Metsy, he fell in love with a painter's daughter. Okay, so Quentin Metsy was a blacksmith and he fell in love with the daughter of a painter. The father would not accept a son-in-law in such a profession. But what happened? Unfortunately, the father, means the painter, did not accept their relationship. Why? Because Quentin Metsy was a blacksmith. He was from different profession. So their father, the daughter father, did not accept their relationship. So Quentin sneaked into the painter's studio. So what happened? One day Quentin just moved stealthily. Sneaked means moved stealthily. Quentin Metsy moved stealthily into the studio of that painter and painted a fly on his lattice panel. And what he had done? He painted a fly, okay, with such a delicate realism. Delicate realism means the quality of the art seemed to be real, and that the master tried to swat means hurt or hit it away before he realized what had happened. So after seeing the fly, the painter, what he had done, the quality of the painting was so real that the painter tried to hit the fly. Okay, but before, what he had done, he did not realize that it was a painting. Though he was a painter, he could not able to realize that the painting seemed to be real, that it was a painting, nothing else. So he had hit the fly. Quentin was immediately admitted as an apprentice into this studio. So though he was a blacksmith, he was a great painter. He had painted the fly so realistically that even the actual painter could not able to realize that it was a painting. So what happened after that? Quentin was accepted as a trainee. Apprentice means trainee into this studio. He married his beloved and went on to become one of the most famous painters of his age. So after that, he married with the painter's daughter, and later on he became one of the most famous painter of his age. These two stories illustrate what each form of art is trying to achieve. So these two stories, they are from different art form. A perfect illusionistic likeness in Europe. If you can see the painting in Europe, it is perfect and it has some illusionistic likeness. That means it is created, an illusion is created to resemble to something. Okay, an illusion is created to resemble to something. It is perfect. And the essence of inner life and spirit in Asia, if you can see the painting, the art in Asia, you can find that there is an essence of inner life and spirit. So this is the contrast, this is the difference between a Chinese painting and an European painting. In the Chinese story, the emperor commissions a painting and appreciates its outer appearance. So we have seen that in the Chinese story of Wu Daozi, the emperor just appreciates the outer appearance of the painting. The emperor, but the artist reveals to him the true meaning of his work. The painter wanted to, his motive was to make the viewers understand or appreciate its outer appearance. The artist reveals to him the true meaning of his work. The artist tried to show the true meaning of his work, but the emperor only had seen the outer appearance of the painting. The emperor may rule over the territory he has conquered, but only the artist knows the way within. So he had drawn a comparison between an emperor and an artist. The emperor may rule over a country, but he did not know the way within. Only the artist knows the way within whatever he is drawing or painting. Let me show the way. The Tao, a word that means both the path or the method and the mysterious work of the universe. So the work which had been painted by Wu Daozi, it was a mysterious work. Okay, that's why he had shown that let me show the way, and Tao means, which means something which has both path. That means both the path or method and the mysterious work of the universe. The painting is gone, but the artist has reached his soul beyond any material appearance. You have seen when he entered into the cave, the entrance of the cave was closed down. Okay, and he could not able to come out. He vanished. Even the painting was also vanished. Okay, and the painting is already been vanished, and after the artist had reached his goal, the cave which he had drawn, it was a special motive. What was the motive? The motive of the artist, the motive was fulfilled. The motive of the artist was fulfilled because such work is beyond material appearance. Okay, it has some spiritual value. Wu Daozi had drawn the cave so realistically that you can move through the cave, you can move through your imagination. Whereas the emperor could not able to do that. Why? Because he had seen only the outer appearance of that painting. So this is a contradiction between an emperor and an artist. A classical Chinese landscape is not meant to reproduce an actual view. In this para, you will see a rapid contradiction between a Chinese painting and a European painting. A classical Chinese landscape is not meant to reproduce an actual view. So this classical Chinese picture or painting is not made with a real viewpoint, okay, as would Western figurative painting. In Western painting, you can see it is a figurative art form. Figurative painting means it is a metamorphic representation of the art. Whereas the European painter wants you to borrow his eyes and look at the particular landscape exactly as he saw it from a specific angle. The European painter, what was his motive? His motive only used to just to attract your attention towards the particular landscape that he would paint and that he wanted to show in a specific scene. The Chinese painter does not choose a single viewpoint. So the European painter chooses a specific viewpoint, whereas the Chinese painter does not want to attract the viewers with a single viewpoint. His landscape is not a real one and you can enter it from any point. Then travel it. The artist creates a path from your eyes to travel up and down, then back again in a leisurely movement. So in a Chinese painting, it has not a real viewpoint and you can travel throughout the painting with your imagination, with your thoughts, which would take you to that world. But the Chinese artists, they wanted us to travel by creating our own path. Okay, by creating our own path, then come back again in a leisurely movement. So the Chinese artists, they want us to travel by creating our own thoughts, by creating our own imagination. And after that, we can also travel back with a very leisurely movement. This is even more true in the case of the horizontal scroll. This is also a form of art in which the action of the slowly opening one section of the painting, then rolling it up to move on to the other, add a dimension of time which is known in any other form of painting. So what is this? The horizontal scroll is also another form of art form where one section of the painting is opened one by one and it is just rolling it up to move on to the other side. It creates a dimension of time which is not practiced in any other form of painting. So you can find horizontal scroll in Chinese art form. It also requires the participation of the viewers who decides at what place he will travel through the painting. A participation which is physical as well as mental. So the Chinese painting, it requires both physical and mental participation of the viewers. You have to appreciate the beauty and you have to just go on through the painting. Why? Because you have to understand the painting. The Chinese painter does not want you to borrow his eyes, he wants you to enter his mind. So, the Chinese painter, the motive of the Chinese painter, they wanted us to enter through their mind, not to look at only at the picture or only at the landscape or only at the painting that whatever they have drawn. They want us that we should enter the mind of the Chinese artist. He wants you to enter his mind. The landscape is an inner one, a spiritual, a conceptual space. So the landscape which is created by the Chinese artist, it has some spiritual value, it has some spirituality, it has some inner conceptuality. And conceptual space means it has an abstract representation. So here in this story we have seen there is a contradiction between a European painting and a Chinese painting. European painting is perfect, okay, and it creates an illusion which is resembled to something, whereas Chinese painting, it has a inner beauty, it has a spiritual value, even it is an abstract representation of the artist's idea and thought. We have to enter into the mind of the artist to understand the painting. Not only we have to appreciate the outer appearance of the painting, we have to enter into the mind of the painter. So I have completed up to page number 35. If you are having any question, please ask. Anyone? Any question? So we can see there is a rapid contradiction. There are many stories related with Chinese painting along with European painting. Okay? So through this painting, we will sum up the contradiction between the Chinese painting and the European painting. Both are different, both have different characteristics. Anyone, any question? Anywhere you have not understood, please say. Others? Others? Any doubts? Anywhere, if you have not understood, please say. I have time, I will discuss with you. No question, no question. Is it clear? Have you understood the contradiction between the Chinese painting and the European painting? There are different stories related with this painting. Anywhere, any question? Okay. Okay, so in my next class I would continue with this chapter, and the previous one I have completed. You can view it, you can have a view through your YouTube channel. Okay, the Laburnum Top I have completed. You can have a view of that poem. Okay, so thank you very much.